songs from your youth appear on dad rock playlists, and you're reluctant to be still out after 9. You buy your clothes for comfort and not fashion, and ignore new tech advancements because the old tech works just fine. There are unexplained aches and pains in the morning, and you feel that art and music made today is nothing new. Before you know it, you've put your bloody back out just by yawning and spent spare time in the garden or refining your home brew. It'll happen to you, it'll happen to you. The years will slowly creep up and you'll realise it's true. And suddenly you'll cease to shun stuff your grandparents did for fun. Believe you me, eventually it'll happen to you. What-ho, folks, Thomas Benjamin Wild Esquire here, with song number 30 of my Song a Week project. This one was about that moment where you realise that you're getting old. It happened to me when I noticed a bunch of the songs that I used to listen to as a teenager were now included on dad rock albums. And that's what inspired the first lyric of this song. I did try and write a Halloween song, but it turned into this for some reason. I'm not sure what that says about aging, but there we go. So yeah, this is just something that I've noticed recently, or not just recently, but over the last 10 years or so. That I'm very much starting to pick up a lot of the leisure activities that my grandparents once enjoyed, like gardening, growing things, going down to the allotment, walking the dog. Those are what I do in my spare time now rather than being out partying. I'm sure other people can relate to that as well, but that's what this song was about. You'll need to forgive me today because I've got a bit of a cold. I do have a show tomorrow, so I'm trying to conserve my voice as much as possible. So apologies if I do sound a little bit bunged up. I played this again on my Flight Soprano Ukulele, details of which can be found in the description below the video. A little heads up on the progress of the new album. I've just received back the latest version of one of the last songs on it, which is sounding amazing, and I'm very, very pleased with it. If you want to hear it before everybody else, then you can join my Patreon community for as little as £3 a month and get access to all kinds of exclusive materials on there. You'll see these videos first and be able to hear all the songs in demo form from the new album. And I'm quite excited about this one, so yeah, go and check it out. As ever, some lovely responses to last week's video. That one was about finding it difficult to maintain adult friendships because of busy schedules and changes in life and circumstances and all that kind of thing. Some great responses. I'm going to just read a few of them out now. Ruby New 4953 says, I work 9 to 5, 5 days a week. My best friend works 4 days on, 4 days off, 12-hour shifts. I have not seen her in years. We only live 30 minutes away from each other. It's sometimes the worst, isn't it? It's people who live just round the corner or just down the road that you find you don't end up making the time for, which is really sad. Beef Panda 5740 says, this song needs a full version. Amazing, just started to get the feels and then it was over. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, I think this one, it's been quite successful, this one. It seems to have really resonated with people. So I think I will probably expand on this one and turn it into a full song eventually. Suzanne Rust 8658 says, so true. It can be so hard because of work and just trying to get the time to see/visit each other. Yeah, absolutely. I've got lots of friends that I would love to see. But I just don't get the opportunity. Sim Jackson says, I relate. My best friend from school and I have a running joke of see you in about 6 months after every time we actually see each other. Yeah, for me, it's been a lot longer than 6 months with a lot of my friends, which is really bad. But we'll get there at some point, I'm sure. Elwood says, I had more conversations with many of my friends during lockdown than before or since. Though obviously that wasn't in person, it reminded me how exhausting it is interacting with other people, no matter how much I like them. Yeah, there was a lot of that during the lockdown period, wasn't there? Chatting to people on Zoom that you hadn't seen for ages. And we were quite social, but I think it's because there was nothing else to do. But yeah, I agree, it can be quite exhausting interacting with people. Terry Law's Mare, I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway, thanks for that song. I sent it to a friend that I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, I think that's the reason why this one's doing particularly well, particularly on Facebook, is because people are copying in the friends that they haven't seen for a while, which is quite nice. It's nice to see that's happening. French Toast 4768 says, tempted just to chuck my calendar in the trash at this point. Lovely song as always, Mr. Esquire. Yes, sometimes I just give up. You do feel like sometimes you're kind of bashing your head against a brick wall, trying to fit people in and fit around people's schedules. But hold on, keep on doing it. It'd be nice to see those people when you do actually eventually get to see them. Quite a few people saying they'd like to see a short of it. There are short. It has been added as a short as well, so you can probably find it in my shorts if you go and have a look in there. James Wright 4322 says, Thomas, if you were to show us your personal listening collection, what different genres would we see most heavily represented? Also, do you still collect physical albums and CDs? I personally won't switch over to entirely digital unless they stop making CDs and albums and their playing devices. That's a really interesting question, actually, because a lot of my kind of current music collection is of acts and bands that I perform with on a regular basis and have grown to know and like that way. So bands such as the Sweet Chunks Band, Bastard Sons of Valdunican, excellent Mr. Chris Taverner, Mr. Be the Gentleman Rhymer, Man and Misfit. So I would say probably most represented in there, in the current stuff, is kind of alternative folk rock, comedy folk, and that kind of thing. But I also have on my back shelves behind me my parents' entire record collection, which consists of lots and lots of different music. So I've got a whole load of vinyl behind me, all the way from kind of 60s folk revival stuff to Donna Summer and everything in between. So there's a huge eclectic mix of my parents' tastes in music there as well. I don't really have a CD collection of my old albums anymore from when I was younger because I got rid of them because they were taking up too much space. But yeah, so it's quite an eclectic mix as well as kind of classical music and things like that as well. So yeah, that's a very good question. Charles Gala 9245 says, I want to add a comment for the sake of adding a comment. Most of my friends and I have just parted ways, strangely, in the last couple of years, but I guess everyone is living their own lives or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that I considered quite close friends years ago, and then we just haven't seen each other or really had any communication. So you just end up parting ways fairly naturally with some groups of friends. But there are some people that you stick in contact with and you carry on communicating with. For me, there are certain people I'd definitely like to see more regularly. Richard van der Meulen 9137 says, another on-point look at modern life. Any thoughts on travelling to this side of the pond? Does your local dog park have some muzzle the dog policy? Two great questions there. I get asked about kind of American shows a lot. I would love to come to America at some point, but I don't really know where to start with it. What I really need is someone who knows what they're doing over there and can handle things like visas and all those kind of things. So if you know anybody, send them my way. On the subject of the dog, I get a lot of questions about this as well because there's lots of pictures of Luca online with his muzzle. It's part of his training process. I think I'm going to do a proper video about this at some point to kind of address some of the kind of questions that people have about it. But yeah, we got him as a rescue a year ago, and he still has some interesting impulses which involve grabbing, nipping, eating things off the side of the street. And also just quite unpredictable behaviour, really. Having his muzzle on in public spaces means that we can be a little bit more relaxed with him, which makes him more relaxed. And eventually, the idea is in those situations, he's more relaxed and less het up and less likely to grab people's bags, clothes, etc., etc. But he also eats anything he finds on the side of the street, including dog crap and including various rubbish that people throw away. Which says, I think, a lot more about how filthy people are around the local area. The fact they don't pick after themselves and their dogs, which makes it quite difficult. We live in quite a busy area. But hopefully that's answered some of your questions there. But I think I'm going to do a proper video about that at some point because it'd be an interesting one. And the muzzle movement, who we actually get his muzzles from, are fantastic. Their muzzle is designed so that the dog can still fully extend its jaw, can still drink, can still take treats and that kind of thing. So it doesn't bother him at all wearing it. He doesn't really react to it. And it's not being done as a punishment either, which I think is important. November's quite a busy month for me in terms of shows in the UK. So if you're interested in coming along, on the 2nd of November, Saturday the 2nd of November, I will be in Hull at the New Adelphi Club with my band, the Fancy Chaps, and the excellent Sweet Chunks Band. It'd be lovely to see if you're in the area. On Friday, the 8th of November, I'm going to be in Hastings at St Andrew's Mews. Now, that's going to be a solo show, and it's also a free show as well. So if you're in the local area, come on down for that. That should be really good fun. On Friday, the 15th of November, I'm going to be at the Palladium Club in Bideford, doing a solo show with support by the excellent Aubrey Blakeledge of the Sweet Chunks Band. That's changed because it was originally supposed to be a band show. We've had to change because of scheduling issues with the band. With both bands, actually, because people have day jobs and all that kind of thing, which have impacted on that. So it'd be lovely to see you at any of those shows if you're in the area. That's about it from me for this week. If you are interested in joining my Patreon community and accessing all kinds of exclusive content, including the songs from the new album in demo form, then follow the link in the description. In the description, you'll also find information about where you can pick up your own flight ukulele as well, and also details for all the shows that I've got coming up in the future. It'd be lovely to see you out and about at a show over the next couple of weeks. If not, stay safe, and until next time, toodle pip.